Hey you guys, welcome to another full body workout. For this workout, we're going to be performing 5 exercises in a circuit style fashion designed to hit all of our major muscle groups. You'll only need 1 heavy dumbbell to complete the workout, and whenever you're ready, we are going to jump right in. So first exercise, you guys, grab that 1 dumbbell. We're going to get into a long waist hold. And we're going to do a stiff leg deadlift up to a push press. So feet are roughly hip distance apart. We're going to hinge at the hips, reaching those sit bones back, flipping the dumbbell to the chest on the way up out of your deadlift, then pressing that dumbbell all the way over the head. So really feeling yourself sit into the heels of your feet, reaching those sit bones back on your hinge. And then nice big exhale breath as we press that dumbbell up overhead. Doing our best to move seamlessly from deadlift all the way up through the press, and then reversing that pattern on the way back down into that hinge position again. Maybe feeling ourselves squeeze the glutes as we come up out of that deadlift, maybe maintaining that squeeze as we press the dumbbell up over our head. Here for 2 more. So on our way back down out of that push press, let's step our feet a little wider, making sure that our feet end up in a sumo position. We're going to release the dumbbell down in between the legs. Whenever you're ready, we're going to squat. At the bottom of our squat, we're going to take time to settle into a nice little bicep curl while we're there. So once again, maybe really feeling yourself connect to the heels of your feet, not allowing that weight of the dumbbell to let the chest or pull that chest forward. Really settling the glutes down and back behind, pressing through those feet as we come on up out of our squat, finding strength in those legs to come on back up to stand. If you're able, maybe landing the triceps, the backs of the arm, the elbows on those inner thighs, making connection there to set up for that nice little curl. 3 more. So last 2. And 1 more. Well done, you guys. So making our way down to kneeling, traveling with this nice heavy dumbbell, curl all 10 toes under. Back behind, we're gonna go into an overhead extension. So before we start, if your elbows were flared, maybe just try and close them, allowing them to frame the face, holding on right up at the top of your dumbbell. We're gonna bend the elbows, releasing that dumbbell down behind the head, maybe with an inhale breath, and then exhaling, pressing back to the top. Don't rush this exercise. I want you to really maximize your efforts, really tune into the range you have as we bend the elbows. Never selling yourself short back there, really letting that dumbbell release down, working really hard to press it back up to the top. 1 more. Well done. So set that dumbbell down in front. We're gonna take left leg nice and long out to the side. If your right toes are still curled under back behind, feel free to uncurl them. Also making sure that the edge or the blade, what I call the blade, of your left foot is in contact with your mat. Hands are gonna come behind the head or behind the ears. Whenever you're ready, we are going to reach that right elbow towards our mat, then trying to draw all the way back through center. So a little bit of work for the obliques here. Inhale as we teapot or tip to the right. Exhale, maybe feeling a nice contraction or a little squeeze through that left oblique as we come back through center. Elbows stay nice and wide. And once again, just making sure that we still feel contact all the way out through the blade of that left foot. Another 5, inhaling on that release. Exhale, draw back through center. Another 3. And one more. Now, from here, let's land this right hand. We are going to do what I call kickstand, that bottom right knee. So just moving it out away from being stacked right underneath your hip. So your hip and that knee should form a nice diagonal line. Left hand's gonna reach over the head. We're gonna lift those left toes. Here we go, oblique style pull or crunch. So inhale to reach, exhale, really dig, really pull. Lots of activation. Sometimes when I do these, I envision almost like there's a rubber band anchored somewhere over my head. And in this instance, my left hand would have a hold of that rubber band with lots of resistance, and I have to activate to really pull and then control the way back so that the band doesn't snap back to start position. Keep connecting down through palm of the right hand, activating that right shoulder. One more. Awesome job. Come on all the way down. We're not going to worry about that other side. We're going to tie that opposite side in, on round 2. So from here, last exercise, we're going to do a pullover with a bridge. So hanging on once again, right up at the top of your dumbbell, similar to where your hands would have been placed in that overhead extension. And also too, maybe just do a little check-in that you can touch the back of the heels with the tips of your fingers. Whenever you are ready, feet a little wider than hip distance apart, release that dumbbell back behind the head, and then exhale, pull the dumbbell so that it comes in line with the chest, floating those hips up at the same time. So inhale to release towards the mat, exhale, connect the feet, press those hips up, hopefully locating some lat muscles that run down the outer edges of the back to activate that pull or pull over. Stopping that dumbbell just as you see it align over the chest. Arms should be fairly straight, but certainly not locked. You should still have a little bit of just softness at that elbow. And maybe feeling some tricep as well, last one. So feel free to gently land it down. You can drop your dumbbell off. Feel free to just bring the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little bit of a hug, a little bit of a just rest or recovery if you need it. And then whenever you're ready, feel free to roll just back to the feet, maybe coming all the way back up to stand. If you need it, feel free now to take a drink before we get into round 2. So round 2 is going to look exactly the same. However, when we get into that oblique work, obviously we're going to be right foot extended, blade of right foot on the mat, tipping to the left, and then transitioning into that modified side plank from there. So back to that stiff leg deadlift, up through push press. So feet roughly hip distance apart, maybe even a footstep wider if you choose. Dumbbell long ways in the hands. Here we go. We're going to hinge at the hips, reach the sit bones back, flipping the dumbbell to the chest. Exhale to press it up, and then reverse your pattern. So once again, maybe feeling yourself really sit into your heels. Controlling that dumbbell all the way down towards the tops of your feet, not letting gravity take over. And just reaching those sit bones as far back behind as they'll go, maintaining the same shape of the leg. So legs here are straight, but certainly not locked. Similar to elbows in that pullover, we should still have a little bit of softness at the knee, but just never really bending into the knee, not letting the legs change shape. Another 5. When we're in just the bottom of that stiff leg deadlift, think about a nice flat back position. So maybe a meter stick running from the crown of your head all the way out through your tailbone. Here for one more. Well done. So step the feet wide, sumo position, release the dumbbell down. Here we go. Bend the knees. Once again, reaching those sit bones down and back. Working into this lovely little bicep curl at the bottom of our squat position. forcing us to hang out in low squat a little bit longer, feeling lots of tension in the lower body, but also too, able to sneak in just a little bit of bicep work while we're hanging out there. As the set drags on, it's going to be pretty tempting to speed up the tempo on that curl. We all know we want to hack out of that low squat position, so that bicep curl might automatically want to pick up pace. It's going to be your job to talk to it, slow it down, maintain that control, tell it no, and continuing to really activate down through soles of the feet, activating that strength through the lower body to drive back up to stand. Let's do 2 more. So last one. Well done. Coming to kneeling, we're gonna get into that overhead extension. So all-time toes curl under, back behind, closing those elbows to frame the face. Here we go, bending the elbows, maximizing just the full effort there on our range of motion. Inhale as we control the release of the dumbbell. Exhale, pressing back up to the top. Doing our best to not arch our back, so maybe engage the abdominals, draw that tailbone down. Working to minimize any sort of sway from the body. We should feel very connected, very committed to the foundation we created. This kneeling position, a little bit more of a challenge. 1 more. Good job. So dumbbell to the floor. We can send this right leg long out to the side, blade of that right foot connected to the mat, just so we're not falling in onto the arch of our foot. So connect the blade, hands behind the head. Here we go. We're gonna tip to the left or teapot, drawing all the way back through center. Elbows stay wide. So inhaling to release to the left, exhale, contract that right oblique, drawing you back through center. Here for 15, you guys, so great big set. Lots of feel here for both sides of the waist. Again, maybe looking for range. So as you head kind of down and out to the left, don't sell yourself short. Hang out there, look. Another 3. Elbows wide. All right, so land the left hand. We're gonna do that kickstand with our bottom left knee, just so that thigh is on an angle. Left hand underneath left shoulder. I didn't cue that on the right side. Right fingers reach, envision that elastic band or resistance band over the head. Here we go. Really dig. So inhale to reach, exhale, pull. Really active and intentional through both parts of our movement, so that draw or that pull, but the extension, the second part as well. Thinking about both parts, they're equally important. Continuing to connect down through the palm of that left hand, staying lifted through the underside of left waist. Keep going. Another 3. Really reaching out through the tips of the right toes, out through the right fingers. There we go, land it down. So that pullover with our bridge. So setting up our feet so that we can just graze the heels with the tips of the fingers. I should have said that first the last time before we set up. My apologies. Hands right up at the top of our dumbbell. We're gonna release this dumbbell back behind the head first. Exhale, everything comes up together. So inhale to release. Exhale, dig. That pullover pattern might feel just like it takes a little bit longer to complete versus the bridge pattern. So just maybe notice what's going on there. Those hips might have to just hover the mat. They might have to patiently wait for a moment while we finish maximizing the effort, the range on that pullover. Then we know to dig everything floating up at the same time. Things working in tandem with one another here. Draw that belly button down. One more. And feel free to settle down to the mat. Drop that dumbbell off. Once again, just allowing for a moment of quiet, a little bit of recovery. Maybe doing something that feels right for you. It does not have to be knees to the chest. If there's something else on your mind, totally fine. And then whenever you are ready, finding your way back to your feet. We know we have to work through our circuit one more time. Feel free to grab a drink. Make sure you hydrate here in between rounds. And then we will jump back in. So last time through, when we get into that little bit of single-sided work, we are going to go back to teapot or tip to the right, which means left leg is extended. We are then going to go right into our side plank pull. From there, so right hand will land. Then we're going to flip and do the other side before making our way down onto our back for that finishing pullover bridge combo. So let's jump back in here. So stiff leg deadlift to that push press, settle into your heels. Here we go. Reach the sit bones back, find your hinge, flipping that dumbbell up to chest, and then working all the way through that press. Maybe reversing that pattern without hesitation. That doesn't mean rush, but just trying to eliminate any little stops and starts as we pair up really what is two almost separate movements, now combining into one. Dumbbell really just tracing up and down the front of the body. And we don't have to reach it to the floor. Let it follow you. That dumbbell's gonna go exactly where your hinge pattern takes it. And that's the only place it needs to be. So maybe focusing more on that stiff leg deadlift or hinge pattern itself, a little less on the dumbbell. 3 more, maybe just recommit to sitting into those heels. And last one here. Good work. So find that sumo stance, angle those toes. Release the dumbbell down. Here we go. We're going to bend the knees, directing those knees out over baby toe side of the foot, staying firmly connected to the soles of both feet, activating that strength in the legs to press us back up to stand. Again, maybe finding a spot for the backs of the arms, the elbows to land on the inner thighs, and resisting the temptation to want to drop the chest forward from the weight of that dumbbell. Settling down and back, sitting in the heels. Not rushing that curl. It's tempting. Tell it no. Another 5. Maybe notice if you're not entirely releasing that curl at the bottom. Maybe those arms still want to hang onto that dumbbell to help you back up to stand. On these last 2, release the weight of the dumbbell, then connect the feet. Makes it a little bit trickier. One more crack at it. Release the weight of the dumbbell and press. Good work. So down to kneeling. Curl all 10 toes under, back behind. We're going to flip this dumbbell up and over, close the elbows. And here we go. Inhale to release the dumbbell. Exhale, pressing it back up to the top. If there's any sort of temptation to want to rock or sway, try and quiet it. Connect to your foundation. If we feel ourselves really flaring our rib cage, try and draw that rib cage down. Draw that tailbone down. Another 5, big bend at the elbow, press right back up to the top, big, big bend. Don't sell yourself short. Only 2 left, make them good ones. Nice job. Dumbbell to the floor. So we can uncurl those back right toes. You know, left leg has to go long out to the side. Hands behind the head. Here we go. We're gonna tip to the right. Draw all the way back through center with that exhale. Inhale, tip. Exhale, back through center. So again, when you're all the way out at this right side with right elbow, hang out there. Go on a little bit of a fact-finding mission. Maximize your efforts, the potential in your range of motion. Don't rush it. Elbows stay wide. So another 5. Then we're going to go into that nice little side plank piece or modified side plank exercise. We'll switch and do this oblique work on the other side. Last 2 here. Good work. So right hand underneath right shoulder, kickstand. This bottom right knee. Left fingers reach, point those left toes. Here we go. Nice big pull. Inhale to reach and lengthen. Exhale, pull. Inhale, reach and lengthen. So every time we extend, every time we reach, think about making the whole entire left side of the body a little bit longer, a little bit taller. Everything's awake, connecting down through palm of that right hand. Keep going. Maybe coming back to the envisioning of that resistance band or elastic band in that left hand, really pulling resistance in both directions. Last 2. Nicely done. So back up, other side. Left knee stays on the floor. We're extending long through right leg, blade of the right foot on the mat, hands behind the head. Here we go. Tipping left. So just minimizing any sort of time between exercises if we're able. Keeping the body guessing, the heart rate elevated. Just keeping things very functional, very efficient. As we get tired, that range is gonna wanna become a little smaller, a little tighter. Keep making it big. Let the mind go there, really look. Another 3. And 1 more. All right. Left hand lands under the left shoulder, kickstand left knee. You guys know this. Right arm over the head. Here we go. Nice big pull. Inhale to reach. Exhale, pull. So we know we only have 1 more exercise left in our workout. We are nearing the end. So that means we're here to make every single rep count. We're just about done. The end is in sight. Just continuing to stay nice and strong. Getting maybe a little bit comfortable with being uncomfortable. It's a real thing. 3 more. Last 1. All right, land it down. So grabbing that dumbbell, making our way all the way down onto our back. This is our bridge with our pullover. Make sure we found that foot placement. Hanging on right up at the top of our dumbbell. Release that dumbbell behind the head. Exhale, everything floats up. Inhale to release. Exhale. Pulling with those back muscles, not so much the hands. That little soft working bend at the elbow. Continuing to draw that belly button down. Resisting any sort of urge to want to arch through that low back area. So don't lead with the tailbone. Another 5, you guys, and I have just a little finishing gift for us here in a second. So 3 more pullovers. We're gonna stay at the top of our bridge on our last one, which is here. So staying at top of a bridge, locking it into place, Just pull over for another 10. So connect down through soles of the feet. Draw belly button down. Squeeze the glutes. And And maybe just closing that space between the lower part of our rib cage and those front hip points if we are tempted to arch that back. Nice big range on that pullover. One more. Great job, you guys. Feel free to unravel that low back to the mat. Feel free to drop off that dumbbell. And taking some sort of recovery or rebound movement or stretch just to wrap up our workout. I'm gonna come to seated, you guys. So hopefully you felt like that was kind of just a spin on a sweaty, full body style workout. And I hope to see you again